was my swearing in. To that was such a visceral, emotional response for me when I was being sworn in. I think you work so hard during the election, and then you realize the gigantic responsibility that you're taking on, and the moment was surreal, and it was very visceral for me, and I can still feel that when I talk about it or when I think back to it.
My most memorable experience in the past year was dining on Finley Bridge for the Together Again Festival. Just sitting with citizens and talking about how wonderful it was to be together was a really memorable experience to me.
The day we spent riding around the city on the trolley and seeing all of the COVID stimulus projects as they were completed, and it was a big celebration. It was pretty amazing to see all of the various recreational facilities and locations in the city that had received funding.
Watching over 100 people fill into the chamber for the night of our skateboard bylaw vote. There was people from elementary school age all the way to the middle of their life with a strong opinion about whether or not we should open up access to downtown for skateboarding. And it was an adrenaline rush sitting in the chairs around the horseshoe, but it was a spectacular experience to see so many people who cared about something come in and sit down and be part of the conversation.
Being one of the few cities in North America accepted as a participant in Strong Town's inaugural Community Action Lab was a highlight for me. Strong Town's principles were prevalent in several council members' campaigns, including my own, as well as in council's strategic plan. I'm also very pleased about the way we're coming together as a council, together with our PR advisor and chief of staff. Not just in terms of developing our collective goals, but also in terms of the updates we've made with the help of our city clerk's office to our processes and dealing with more items in an open setting. This work will be continuing over the coming year.
We can focus our energies now on things that matter to the Hatters. Ultimately, it was a challenging effort to get our books in order. Now that we've done that, we can really do some amazing things.
I am most proud of the work that we did with the Truth and Reconciliation Recommendations Committee. Answering the calls to action was really important.
Working together around the horseshoe with different councillors with different dynamics and finding our feet. Pretty much all of us are new, so it was the first year was really a learning curve for me, and I'm loving it and really loving being part of the community this way.
Well, I've learned so much from the community. I thought coming from my previous life, I knew the community quite well, but I've really seen the community in a whole different light. I now know how important the small things are. It's really, to me, the biggest learning point has been people really care about the micro issues, and you have to be on them. So I think of anything, that's what I've learned about our citizens. They really care, and they want us to look after the small things in the community that make our community what it is.
I didn't realize how engaged our community was. I think during the election it's easy to get engaged or to see that engagement, but when you're out of an election, what's interesting is to see the emails that we get, the phone calls we get, the text messages. Just walking down the street, I'll get, Councillor Sharps, can I tell you something, or can I give you some feedback? And it's from people, everyday people, from business owners to people just shopping with their kids and employed someplace else. And it is incredible to see how engaged our community is. They don't always agree, and nor should they, but they're incredibly engaged with what's happening.
The citizens of Medicine Hat love their community, love to be engaged, want nothing but the best for their for their children, for their grandchildren. They're very passionate about their beliefs and their different parts of different neighborhoods and the community as a whole, so it's lots of passionate people within the community.
I have learned that there is a great deal of innovation happening right here in our community. Whether it's entrepreneurs starting new businesses with novel products, our existing tech and industrial businesses, our social servicing organizations, or local artists and musicians, Medicine Hat has a lot of talented people doing incredible things.
Over the last year, the thing that I found most challenging was the magnitude of information we have to process and make decisions with, as well as the level of emotion that goes with being at a table with 8 other people with different opinions and coming to a resolution that is grounded and balanced and fair.
Navigating through COVID, ensuring that the people at Medicine Hat were safe, that they had services that they could count on. We, as a former council member and the new council, had the unenviable position of ensuring that the people at Medicine Hat would weather this COVID situation as best possible, and I'm proud of the opportunities that we created.
For me, the most challenging thing was scheduling because there's so much opportunity to participate in community events. There's a lot of meetings to attend and learning opportunities and ways to connect with people in the community. And so scheduling it all for me was the hardest part.
I'm most looking forward to working with Council and Administration to operationalize our strategic plan, including by identifying the key objectives we want to achieve over the course of our term, as well as metrics of success for each of those objectives. In addition to working with Strong Towns through the Community Action Lab to accelerate some of the items in our strategic plan, the MDP, and other city plans. We are also going to be initiating a series of town halls over the coming year, which I am really looking forward to. And of course, strengthening our regional partnerships and continuing the work started with the Business Retention and Expansion and Workforce Development Report, and more recently, the Economic Growth Forum held at the Medicine Hat College.
You know, we've got a year underneath our belt now, and I'm really seeing the collective vision of council starting to form. I think we've got, 9 passionate individuals that definitely care for this community, and just listening to different perspectives has been really interesting for me in this last year.
Having a city budget where we're no longer requiring and dependent on a dividend that is no longer available to us, that we are self-sustaining, we're no longer having to use reserves to offset our tax base. A community that's growing, it's vibrant, and full of families and friends and good company.
Getting some of the things done that we've talked about over the past year. I've really felt that we've been kind of slow getting out of the gates because of some of the things that I've talked around our, the different shortages of staff, and coming out of COVID, it was just a strange time. But I really don't see any reason now why we can't start moving forward on some of the things that we've talked about around, our future of our rec facilities, of our streets and trails, and really bringing this city to a place where, when I'm done my term on council, that I feel that we've actually made a difference and made this community a better community.